Hi everybody, it's your favorite hood healer, it's your favorite hood high priestess, it's your favorite motivational dominatrix, it's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, LadySpeech in the place to be, and I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also sharing a bit of time and a bit of space with me, so thank you. Thank you for all of that. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so that I can be here for you anytime you press play, anytime you press replay. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? As you can see, we are back with another Ask LadySpeech video, so let's get all the way right into it. We are taking the question once again from TikTok, and this question is, why do you think so many revel in generational trauma instead of healing from them, even when they are aware of it? Let me repeat that again. Why do you think so many revel in generational trauma instead of healing from them, even when they are aware of it? This is a really good question. I answered it. I took the 1 minute on TikTok and answered it, and I also let them know in the comments that I would be handling a longer video about this question on here, because what a question, and the answer is gonna take a little bit more than 60 seconds. So let's dive in. In my opinion, when it comes to the reason why people don't, won't, or refuse to look at or heal generational trauma, pain, and all that stuff, one of the #1 reasons is time. They don't have the time. This society is not set up for people to be well. This society does not center people's actual health. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, or otherwise. People don't have the time. As someone who regularly moves through, takes a lot of time to move through my own generational trauma, and I facilitate and I help facilitate and help others learn how to facilitate healing in their own lives in regards to their own generational trauma, what I can tell you is this: it takes an awful lot of time. It takes an awful lot of time. It takes an awful lot of time that a lot of people do not have. Why don't they have the time? Well, most people are working a 9-to-5 job. And if you're lucky, you're only getting away with working 8 hours a day to sustain your lifestyle, to pay your bills, to make ends meet, to make sure that you have food to eat, clothes on your back, to provide for your basic needs. Most of us, a lot of people, are working more than 8 hours a day, okay? Not only are people working 8 hours a day, but you need to come home and you need to eat. So there's time that outside of your 8 hours, your 10 hours, your 16 hours, your 12 hours a day that you are spending working or sustaining yourself through some type of job given exchange. You also need to do basic things like attend to your food, relaxation, chilling, kicking back. If you have relationships like spouses or children, or you're involved with your chosen family or your blood family, there goes a lot of your time. You're spending a lot of your time there. Don't go to school. Don't be hell-bent on improving yourself or pouring knowledge and wisdom and education into yourself. There goes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, focused time, to heal. And a lot of people simply don't have it. A lot of people are really busy surviving because this society is designed that way. Capitalism, lots of cool things about it, lots of destructive things about it as well. Pursuing capitalism doesn't really leave a lot of room for us as a society to look in depth at a lot of the problems that are seeding a lot of the issues that are manifesting in our society right now. Capitalism doesn't lend that. Within capitalistic societies, you need to be focused on your bag. You need to be focused on getting your money. Look at what this society praises. We praise grind culture. We praise working yourself to the bone. We praise focusing on securing your bag. Because if you secure your bag, then you can have a good life. You can take care of your needs. And not only can you take care of your needs, but you can also take care of your wants and your desires. Time. A lot of people simply don't have the time. Healing from generational trauma is hard. There will be days where you utilize prayer and meditation. There will be days that sometimes you're healing. There will be weeks that sometimes your healing looks like you down for the count, where you can barely function because you are revisiting wounds that are so deep. Sometimes healing looks like moments of silence. Sometimes healing looks like us losing it a little bit. Sometimes healing looks like spending a lot of time in research. Sometimes healing is having a series of hard conversations. Healing generational trauma, you have to approach it from a lot of different perspectives, and you have to commit to it. Healing generational trauma takes a commitment. It's not, I'm going to pay attention to this for 6 months and everything is one and done and we will be good. Oh, no. Healing from generational trauma takes a lifelong commitment, because you will be biting off chunks of that for your entire life. So time, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons why people do not heal and address their generational trauma. Another reason why people revel in generational trauma, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to confront generational curses, to confront generational trauma, to confront the deep pain and the experiences that caused the trauma. It takes a lot. And if you don't have any support, it is really hard to sustain that work, okay? So, for example, I do not have a lot of contact with my family. As of right now, the only family member blood family member that I have regular contact with is my cousin. And we also we have contact now, but we didn't have contact for a while. The reason why I only have contact with my cousin is because she's the only one who does the healing work with me. She's the only one who is as committed and is as invested in working through and on our generational trauma. Because of that, she also engages in behaviors that are very healing right now. I don't engage with a large part of my family because of the abuse that I experienced and the lack of focus on our healing around that. And it wasn't just about my own personal healing and healing my own personal experience. The abuse that I experienced is a product of generational trauma, is a product of that. And for me, I felt like as I was moving deeper into my healing, I felt like it was absolutely necessary and paramount for my healing to separate from my family in order to heal from the things that went on in my family, especially because they weren't as focused on that as I was. I ended up getting myself into situations, and I'm grateful for my foresight, and I'm grateful for the guidance of my ancestors and my spiritual team. I ended up in a position where I was able to begin to assemble a support system for myself that supported me through this healing. I ended up getting involved in communities and amassing and creating a chosen family that focuses on this deep-seated healing. And I was able to have support through the years, through some very hard epiphanies and breakthroughs, and moving through toxic and destructive behaviors and thought patterns. That required a lot of support. And I was able to build that support. A lot of people aren't going to, address their generational trauma or even their personal trauma because they don't have the support to. There's a large part of this journey that you're gonna walk on your own and by yourself. There's a large part of confronting generational trauma and pain that I have done on my own, And I also have needed some heavy lifting assistance, some assistance with the heavy lifting during big parts of this. I got that assistance through identifying and cultivating good gurus, guides, leaders, and teachers in my life. Older people, elders who knew more than me, who could offer me guidance, who could offer me the wisdom that they gained from their experience. I also created a chosen family of my peers who were very much focused on becoming better people, who were very much focused on healing, confronting not only generational and past trauma, but their own trauma, the trauma that they have experienced in this lifetime. So being able to have that support from elders, from my spiritual path and purpose, from my peers, and establishing a really good and solid relationship with my spiritual team, and being able to receive that support from there and lead on that support really helped me and continues to help me to confront generational trauma and pain. But if you don't have that type of support, it's super hard. It's super hard. You could be as aware as all get out, but if you don't have that support, there are going to be days, moments where you have to get deep into the ugly, and you're going to need some help being pulled out of that. You're going to need some help. And if the first time you experience a moment like that with your healing and there's nobody there to help you, there's nobody there to assist you when you need that help and that assistance, that is one of the biggest turn-offs for people, and it will turn people away from doing their in-depth work. So lack of support is a huge reason why people don't pursue their healing. Not even just on a generational level, healing their own generational trauma and their own ancestral trauma and pain, but also that's a big reason why people don't confront their own personal trauma and pain as well. The last point that I wanted to make about this is that so much of generational ancestral trauma happened as a result of colonialism. It happened as a result of colonization. We have a lot of generational trauma and pain that comes from the enslavement of Africans. It comes from the stealing of land from indigenous people. And when we look at those processes of enslaving people, when we look at the process of colonizing people, stealing lands, colonizing the land, all of those processes involve extreme torture, extreme violence, and extreme circumstances over a sustained period of time, okay? Over a sustained period of time, very extreme things happen, all right? Very extreme things happen. When we look at the source of a lot of generational trauma and generational pain, and we look at when we start getting in and digging into what really happened, it's painful. It's painful. It's absolutely painful. And what you begin to see is this is why the system works. People don't confront their generational ancestral trauma because the system of oppression, the system of colonialism is so good. It has broken people generations forward, and it was designed to do just that. The enslavement of Africans, once Africans started being sold into the white supremacist version of slavery, that system was designed to not only break the person that is experiencing it, it breaks future generations. The reason why so many people do not confront their pain, do not heal their trauma, is because the system was designed this way. And it has been perfected. Colonialism has been perfected over hundreds of years. Quite simply, the system works, and it is doing what it was designed to do. I want to say this. If you are one of those people who has answered the call of healing generational pain and trauma, confronting generational ancestral pain and trauma in your world, number one, congratulations. That is amazing work. Number two, that's hard work. Worth it. all of the work that you're doing always worth it. Beautiful work, life-saving work. The work that you are doing is making a positive dent in your lineage and in your ancestral realm. You are affecting 7 generations back and 7 generations forward with your amazing and beautiful work. I commend you and I praise you, because this work ain't for the faint of heart. It is not easy. It is not easy, but it is always worth it. At the same time, I know it can be frustrating. Some of us are the only people in our families that are doing this work. Some of us are the only people in our generation that's doing this work. And that can be incredibly frustrating and very isolating. Keep going. Keep going. To take on any part of this work, you gotta be some type of a gangster. To continuously choose to do this work, you really gotta be a gangster. And to dedicate yourself to this work for the rest of your life, and to take it on as it ebbs and flows in your life, you are the biggest gangster. It doesn't make you better than anybody else, but it does make you cut from a different cloth. With that being said, do not judge other people when they cannot do the work. Do not judge other people when they will not do the work. Remember that we don't know everyone's full story. We don't know everyone's full story. When I look to my own blood family, am I sometimes hurt and disappointed that a lot of them aren't taking on this work to the degree that I have? Yes. A lot of that comes from just, I know the benefit of taking on this work. I know the benefit of healing from these levels. I know that I have broken ancestral cycles. I know that I am attending to ancestral wounds. I know that I've attended to and continue to attend to my own healing and benefit from that. My life improves every single step, every single year, every single moment that I spend in the healing energy. My life improves. So yes, part of me is frustrated because I want my people to experience the type of healing benefits and blessings that I do. Part of me is frustrated and angry because I know if they're not healing, they're not growing, and they're perpetuating sickness and death within our family. It frustrates me because I know that there is a lot of hurt and pain that is being perpetuated, that is being regurgitated, that would stop if we all attended to our healing. Yes, it's very frustrating, but I also don't judge them. I have a lot more time than them when it comes to healing, and this is also because I made the time. And I live my life in a way that's completely different, that prioritizes my healing over capitalistic pursuits. I have the support. And I also take into account that I started young. I officially began to walk my healing path and purpose at 17 and have never stopped. So even though it was really hard to begin then as a young person, it was also kind of easy. And I have developed my life around these concepts. And so it's easier now for me to just continue on this path. I fully recognize that it's hard, not impossible, but the older you get, the harder it is to break out of the old habits of not healing, of not addressing your pain and your trauma, of not dedicating yourself to your upliftment. So there's no judgment there. There's no judgment there. Do I want them all to really formally commit to healing our ancestors and ourselves? Yes. Am I judging them for not doing it? No. No, I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. And all I can do is continue to pray that they receive healing, that we all receive healing, and we walk our path and our purpose. What brings me comfort is this. Whether or not I have a physical presence with my family, we are still blood, and we are still united in our ancestry. even if I never see any parts of my family, my mother's side or my father's side, physically ever again, I'm confident that the healing that I am doing not only benefits me, but it will benefit them because it is healing our ancestors. So the work that I do is not in vain. The healing that I do is not in vain. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what they choose to do. It matters what I choose to do. And even if none of them choose to heal or to address any of this, I am. And that is making a huge impact in my family and on my ancestors and to our legacy. And I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all for today's video. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Gold star for you. Gold star for you. And gold star for me. I'm having so much fun with this series. I look forward to answering more questions for you. If you got questions for me, you know where you can find me. I am on Twitter as LadySpeech. I am on Facebook as LadySpeech. That is my artist page. Go over there and like it and follow it. I am on TikTok as LadySpeech Sankofa. So feel free to ask me questions on those platforms, as well as feel free to ask me questions on this platform as well. You can always leave a question in the comments, and I encourage you to ask your questions, especially under these videos, because I'm going to be looking for all the juicy ones and the ones that spark joy within me, and I will be answering them for you. So now, my sugar honey dumplings, it's time for me to say goodbye and release you back into the world, the land of the living. I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good evening, a good afternoon, a good morning, a good middle of the night, a good middle of the day, a good whenever you encountered this video. I hope you're having a good week, a good month, and a good year. Once again, I appreciate your support. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, and if you're feeling me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with this. So you can keep up with me. So you can have access to all of my shenanigans whenever you press play, whenever you press replay. Now, you go out there and be great. And remember that your favorite auntie Captain Goddess loves you. Peace.